I'm scared.
I mean,
I've been scared for a while.
I don't hear you painting a rosy picture of the future.
There is one rosy thing out there, though, George.
What is it?
And it's not too far away. And this is where these groups of Tibetan monks and I agree. And we've seen, as remote viewers, we've seen this time and time again, and I stand by it. When the Earth core changes the most, and the stuff really hits the fan, and the sun, and it appears that the universe is snuffing us, things start to calm down, but the Earth is very barren. The Mad Max scenario has run its course, and there is somebody else here helping us to rebuild. And by the way, they're here now.
E.T. intervention?
Yep, and we've been watching them very closely.
I haven't heard you talk about this in a long time.
I haven't. And there's certain classified things about it I can't talk about, but I'm going to say some things tonight that I haven't said before, because I do want to give people some hope so that they know that some of their children and grandchildren will, even if they're not, will still be around here to rebuild this planet with some help.
So you are saying that there could be some extraterrestrial intervention to bail us out of this?
There already has been on numerous occasions, and they're still doing it. I'm going to give you specific examples.
Do they look like us?
Yep. Well, one aspect, there's two sides of this. One is an esoteric. Let's go back to the idea of the abductions, for instance, the Travis Walton abduction.
Okay.
There's also the Ariel School incident in 1994 outside of Zimbabwe, where all the school children walked out and were confronted by gray-looking, bug-eyed folks from flying saucers and all that.
Waving at them.
Yeah, but they were not really there. That agency can play our minds and has like a fiddle. They are extremely... that was not an objective experience. The kids their minds were being played. It was a screenplay that was implanted in them. And that agency is very different. And they have actually prevented World War III about 3 times since 1954. They've actually stopped that. But they do not look like us. And they are more interdimensional than anything else like that. However, if you go onto the web and if you've listened to me over the years talk about these glowing plasma balls that have stopped our nuclear weapons test, I'm saying our, U.S., the Trident missile, submarine missile test that they've stopped, and there's actually photos of these things, what it looks like them firing a beam of light into a missile warhead, and then the missile warhead goes off course. Have you seen any of these?
Yes, I sure have.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, those things, when the Navy and the CIA came to me as the operations officer, the SI spy unit, and said, could you give us some information about this? And I came back to them, they're not ours, and they're not the Russians, and they're not from around here, but there are humans involved. Those are not craft or vehicles or objects. There's more like a plasma ball, a plasma creation, a tool that's generated somewhere else by people that look like us, and they are human, George, but they're not born on this planet. And
That's
they have
dramatic.
a base, and the base is on the surface of this planet.
How long have they been here?
I don't know.
It sounds like that they're preparing for something.
Yes, they are preparing, and they've essentially stopped in conjunction with this other agency or this other group. The group is actually probably a gross misnomer. This other agency, they've probably stopped us from going. They know where every single warhead of every country is. They've allowed Nagasaki and Hiroshima to happen. They've allowed other things to happen. And by the way, they have the ability to suck up radiation. They have tools to do that. We've seen them. So those are going to be necessary if all the reactors, let's say in the Great Lakes area, go,
Well, it's funny. My son's been transferred from St. Louis to Las Vegas. He's a executive casino host. And so I went to see him last weekend when he was moving. And as I'm at the airport, there's a nice couple there. They're behind me. And she says, "Are you George Norrie?" And I turned around and said, "Yep." And so we started talking. They listened to the show a lot, religiously. But her husband told me that his father worked out at Minot, North Dakota, and we've had a couple guests on who've talked about UFOs shutting down missile silos. Well, he told his son, and this guy's dead now, he told his son, he said, that story's absolutely true, that we were out there monitoring these sites, and these strange craft came by and shut these missile systems down. We could not launch if we were ordered to.
It's not really a craft, George. It's this plasma.
Oh, it looks like a craft.
Yeah, it looks like, and they can shape it any way they want. But it's a tool. It's a temporary tool that is projected. I'll use that term loosely from a terrestrial here on Earth base by people that look like you and me, but they're not born here. They're born far, far away, and their allegiances are not to us, but to entities that do not look like them or us.
It sounds like a galactic federation. Stay with us. We're with Major Ed Dames. Back in a moment, we'll talk more about this. What's going on with Iran? What does he see in the future? We'll be back.